Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the KSB update for Wednesday, April 7th. You have your whole team at the State House today, as you can hopefully see from our background. I guess the key headline of the day is that the conference committee that is, how can I usually explain this? House Bill 2119, the bill that includes education funding passed by the House, private school program expansion, and remote learning limits, is now going to be in, it is now in Senate Bill 175 in a conference committee report. Agreement was reached today. There are some procedural steps they have to take, but we expect tomorrow, mostly because the House is done for the day, to have the vote on what is essentially the same as it passed the House. There were some technical amendments that clarify a few things, but they don't really change the basic purpose. It's the funding mostly of the governor's plan and Gannon phase-in money for the next 2 years. It is expansion of student eligibility for tax credit scholarships for private schools and a new education savings account program. And it is limits on the time schools can be in remote learning to count or to get full funding for students. Simplest way to put it. The amendments do not really change our fundamental problems with those provisions. And the conference committee removed the extension of the statewide mill levy, which is a critical thing to do, to be bundled into other tax packages. Perhaps a little bit to our surprise, mine at least, they did not put any other education policy proposals into this bill. So it'll rise or stand essentially alone. There are other education conference committees scheduled to meet tomorrow. We will be continuing to monitor those. This is the time of year when almost anything that has passed one house is fair game, and sometimes things that haven't passed even one house are fair game. So bottom line for tonight is this now has to be approved by both the House and Senate. It was very close in the House. The Senate has not yet voted. We are encouraging you to contact your senators and representatives to oppose the bill as long as there are these other policy proposals in it. Guys, do you want to offer any comments about this action, or just kind of fill us in on anything else that's going on today? Scott, you're muted if you're going first. Sorry. Unfamiliar settings.
Well, like Mark said, this was a close house in the vote, 65 to 58. And so we'll be anxious to see what the vote is like tomorrow. And in the Senate, of course, if this bill does pass, it would go to the governor. We would think she would veto this. So it's important to see if there are the votes in the House and Senate to override a veto. That would take a 2/3 vote. We don't think that's there, but we can't be too certain. So we really need folks to keep contacting their legislators, let them know this is a concerning bill. This would really change public school education in Kansas, not for the better. So just try to reach your legislators and let them know that there are problems with this bill.
Leah, anything you want to add?
No, and with our connection being kind of sketchy, I'll just say everything that Mark and Scott said is right.
Okay, well, Scott, you've been following debates in the Senate on the definition of a pitcher of beer and when you can get it. And then maybe more seriously, we're currently talking about the vaccination requirements for school and daycare. You want to bring us up to speed on that, where we are right now?
Yeah, there's a debate actually going on right now. It is a bill, House Bill 2224, which deals with infectious diseases and law enforcement. Senator Mark Steffen from Reno County has an amendment that would remove the Kansas Department of Health and Environment from being sort of the final arbiter on what vaccinations are required for kids in school and child care, and place that into the statute books, which basically means the legislature would kind of be in charge of this. This is seen as kind of an anti-vaccination sort of effort. Senator Steffen has raised lots of concerns, or expressed lots of concerns about the COVID vaccination and other vaccinations. And so we're having that debate now in the Senate. And basically there is one more procedural move to go through for the new education bill, which has to be done in the Senate, probably be done tonight, and which would pave the way to votes on the bill that Mark was talking about, Senate Bill 175.
I think we should clarify, at least I think it was clarified, that the amendment they're considering does not include the language on requiring or prohibiting vaccinations of adults for employment. That was tied into this issue earlier, but I don't think that's part of this amendment. I think he clarified that. So, and then also expected to be a debate tonight at some point that we'll probably let Scott cover, is the firearms safety training in schools bill, 2089, I believe. And then there's also, we think, going to be debate on the concealed carry reciprocity bill, which includes the provision for 18-year-olds to be able to get concealed carry. It does not change where you can carry a concealed weapon. It doesn't change the ability to carry to schools, but it does allow younger people to potentially be licensed for concealed carry. I think those are the main things. If I'm not forgetting anything, we would again just ask you to follow us on social media or on these provisions. But the key thing is the critical vote on school funding, I think, is coming. The other issue that we're waiting on is kind of the rest of the budget, which is still not resolved. I know probably both of you have watched that a little bit. I think the key agreement, I guess, is if the school funding gets resolved, that probably makes it easier to resolve the rest of the budget. The thing that has not been mentioned on 2119/175 is the 2% cut that was adopted as a House floor amendment, but there doesn't seem to be a huge amount of enthusiasm for right now anywhere, even though it is the House position, and of course will be part of this discussion. Any last thoughts about that conference, folks?
I sat in the budget conference briefly this morning, and it seemed like the chairman was indicating that education funding would be dealt with by the Education Conference Committee.
Right. So I guess as we are all kind of freezing up here as the night goes forward, we'll wrap up for tonight. We'll just invite you to follow us tomorrow, and we'll have a report tomorrow, hopefully not too late, on what the final vote is and where we go from there. So thank you guys. Thanks for joining us, and keep watching.